Hello, I'm LuNEJuNE, and in today's video, I'll be showing you guys 3 different modified electric decks that are considered the best. Let's get right into the video. First, let's start off with a question. What is a Melect? A Melect is the short term of modified electric dice. From now on, I'll be calling modified electric dice Melect, so that's just a disclaimer. Now let's get right into the basics. Each pip will chain damage the mobs. 1 pip equals 1 mob, 4 pip equals 4 mobs. However, it will deal a bit less damage due to balancing on the mobs behind the first mob. The dice is naturally very hard to take out mini bosses and boss and meta mobs. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it's hard to take out mini bosses and boss and meta mobs with this dice alone. Let's get into the decks. The 3 famous decks using the Melect are the classic Melect Sacrifice deck, which you guys probably have seen, the Iron Melect, which you guys probably have encountered, and the Solar Melect. One thing to remember is that all 3 of these decks have 4 dice in common: Melect, Light, Joker, and Growth. Let's start off with the classic Melect Sacrifice. This deck contains Melect, Light, Sacrifice, Joker, and Growth. Let's go on to the pros and cons. The pros: it is very easy to pull off huge build-ups in the beginning due to the sacrifice dice. Also, it is almost impossible to lose in the first few rounds. It is very good at killing Snake Boss. The cons are, it is very hard to kill other bosses. For example, Leon, Knight, and Magician. Also, mini bosses are sorta hard to kill. The loss of damage in the later rounds causes a loss. That's pretty much it for the pros and cons, and let's go on to the deck rating. The deck rating, I'll give it a solid 6 out of 10. The deck difficulty is 7 out of 10. And let's just put one example. The example is, let's say the multi-target Inferno Tower from Clash of Clans, if you guys played that game before, is the Melect. It's very easy to kill small units and swarms such as skeletons and barbarians, mobs in random dice, but it is very hard to kill golems and other tanks, which are mini bosses and bosses in random dice. That's the state of Melect. This deck is very strong against Nuclear deck and Assassin. The Nuclear deck because you cannot lose by lane rushes, and Assassin due to Sac. If they accidentally target your sacrifice, that's free SP for you. It is very weak against meta deck if done correctly. Let's move on to the Iron Melect. This deck contains Melect, Light, Iron, Joker, and Growth. Let's move on to the pros and cons. The pros: the Iron carries the deck in the first few rounds. The mid game is still good because of the Iron and it can take out bosses. The cons are, it is very bad at late game because of mini bosses' health. If you don't have a high pip Melect, then you lose. That's pretty much it for the pros and cons, and let's go into the deck rating. The deck rating, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And the deck difficulty is 4 out of 10. Let's put the multi-target Inferno Tower from Clash of Clans, the Melect, as an example again. Then, the P.E.K.K.A from the Clan Castle is the Iron Dice. Those 2 are very good at taking out swarms because of the Melect, or the multi-target Inferno Tower, and tanks because of the P.E.K.K.A, which is Iron in random dice. But it starts falling behind later when the P.E.K.K.A is dead or the Inferno Tower is dead. This is the late game situation in random dice. The deck is very strong against pretty much any deck, but it is very, very weak against the Solar deck and the Element deck and pretty much all late game decks. And let's go on to the last deck, the Solar Melect deck. This is personally my favorite deck, and I'm still working on a guide about this deck. This deck contains Melect, Light, Solar, Joker, and Growth. Let's move on to the pros and cons. The pros: this time, the Melect carries the deck in the first few rounds and the mid game. The Solar dice is the carry in the late game. This deck gets stronger in the late game. It is very good and very reliable, and it is an extremely safe deck to play. The cons are, there really is no negative side to this deck, but one thing is for sure, it is hard to go late game without a good Solar setup. The deck rating is solid 9 out of 10. The deck difficulty is 8 out of 10. For example, the multi-target Inferno Tower from Clash of Clans is Melect once again. And this time, the solar dice is a single target Inferno Tyrant from Clash of Clans. It is very good at taking out swarms and tanks. And if you guys did not know, the solar is legit the best boss killing thing in this game. And the Melect is legit the best mob killing thing in this game, tied to the Typhoon. Combining these two really good dices makes a really good deck. Sorry, I meant to say dice, but my English is horrible. This deck is very strong against Solar deck and Typhoon deck. I wouldn't say it's very weak, but it is weak against that element if a decent player uses it. Thanks for watching this very short video, and I still have a gameplay on the Solar Melect deck after this outro to help demonstrate how the deck works. Again, I'm not a very good player, so keep that in mind. Thanks for watching once again, and subscribe and like the video if you want to see more random dice content from me. That's it, and enjoy the gameplay.